into it. I am such a dunce. I'll be honest with you guys. So I made a miscalculation. I really should have gone live yesterday because, man, now I have to hope that one of my buddies is alive because I kind of need someone to hold my blueprints. Um, Basically, what I'm talking about is so the Riverdale update is tomorrow for our graders, and I still reluctantly play this game, at least for like just giving it like a week. I'll play it for like a week because the update is out, but until they add more stuff, I'm really not going to be playing this game too much. It's just not fun. The crashes mainly, and then just the lack of like awareness by the dev team thinking that like the base that they have is strong enough. Hmm. Nobody I play with is on now, so we have to wait. We can do this first. Mm. It's two battles I want to watch. All right, so I'm going to be analyzing two dance battles from a upcoming very good talent. Well, he's basically a vet, but somebody I believe in very much. He has potential to do something really great in the next era of Jersey dancing, and I'm rooting for him very much so. So, excuse me. We're going to look at a dancer named Tragic. We're going to watch two battles and see what happened here. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, context. This is hip hop. Oh, wait, whoa. Hold on, hold on, hold on. She kind of. She's fire. Too fast, but oh, okay. That was nice. That was nice. He has a lot of. He has a lot of. He said, "Ouch." I love. See. I was just analyzing, but for his, for me not seeing him in this environment in a while, which would be for more context, like most Jersey club dancers, at least people his background, they probably don't have like a lot of experience in a lot of tournaments outside of like those specific wheelhouses. It'll be flex, it'll be club, and obviously you'll see them labbing to different music. But this is an example of what I think he's like 24, 25 now, but this is an example of what he's able to bring to the table. I'm actually surprised because he did better than I even expected. I was expecting to see different looks, but he didn't do a single break. He incorporated his glides. He actually has some groundwork, which was actually pretty impressive. I want to go back a little bit. Boom, doom. He messed up that move, and he still kept going. He has a lot of intensity. I can understand how the first judge wanted her to win because I did like her moves better. Nice. I actually want to watch two battles, so this is gonna be one, and then this next one's where he got out. So this is where we see what he needs to learn because while I am exceptionally high on his talent, um, again he's still young, so there is much smaller things that he can incorporate and learn. So I actually want to watch this one too. Hmm. I'm curious what Mar did. Did he have to go first? I'm curious. Oh, okay. So already off the rip, I'm like in my little zone, but he's giving him off the rip. Look at his look at his face like immediately as he starts. This is how you know he was aware, but he's like, okay, nah, this guy's legit. So watch how he starts dancing. Look, you see right now. The face, he like, oh. He like, okay, this might be something different. Bang, 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 bang. Don't look at the levels. Oh my god. Woo, woo, woo. That was hard. That was nice. And this is like casual. It's like now before I begin, one thing he may do is try to go immediately in, not assess the music. This is going to be maybe the first thing I say he still needs to adapt or be aware of. Oh. But the music. Okay. But see, this is not a Gypsy Club scene though, and he needs to see. Ooh! Ooh, okay, that's hard. That's actually hard. But. And then he does it at the end. See. This is what he needs to do in the beginning. Like I said, listen, he validates every time he validates it. It's just that unfortunately, see, he's not worried. Again, like you can look in his face, he's not worried because in most battle settings, he's not realizing that okay, the judges probably wanted to see a few things, maybe a bit more structure. Uh, they probably wanted to see him incorporate the elements of hip hop into his sequences. Granted, he on two occasions he did multiple things right. Like, even when he messed up or a move wasn't the way it went, sorry, the way he wanted it to go, he actually he's done this multiple times now. He can transition to a whole new segment. He even towards the end started to incorporate it, and now that's another thing. Like the experience factor is pacing, the technique, which it was actually very good here. But at towards the end, like he did he did the thing too late. Like this last 10 seconds Had he started with this round is completely different because like that this thing it, he reminds me of a certain dancer that's in the scene right now, just killing the game. He's been all over the stage, just killing it. He has a chance to be 10 times that dancer. I'll say it another time. You probably know who I'm talking about. Like he has an incredible battle record, and he just cooked people with breaking. I see I see that times at least three with this kid here. Like I'm telling you, but boom. And he tapped in so late. Oh man. Wait, let me see. So 2-1. So, which is graceful, good, very nice, very, very nice. One thing I will say is, yeah, that's the first episode that we're gonna be getting into, and this is the brother's talent. I think Leak or Tragic has I know special talent, but shout outs to the other dancer too, to Law. He understood the field. He was in his element. Like the one transition mentally, he just had that edge. He was like the flashy moves and the sequences and the overwhelming just talent or like just he kept composed and he knew that like he knew what the judges wanted to see and he also like had his moments. So we will see how both of them continue to progress, but until the next one, let me end this one right here. Oh my god, and I'm always glitching in and out. Of course, I'm just not. Hmm. Wait, I just realized. Oh man, hold on. 425 now, but this is gonna watch two battles, so this is gonna be. I'm curious what. Okay. 425. Okay, so now I one thing I will say is he did try to add groove and well, he tried to add swag elements with proper like it was pockets, but they was too small. They were too small, and he didn't give him time to breathe. Oh man, it's so crazy because I literally see with his skill, he should have been in the top eight of this tournament, hands down. And these were talented dancers. He should have been top eight, hands down. I cannot wait to have a conversation with this young man. I need to get in his ear because, bro, he just needs he just needs wisdom, and it's, whew, bro. People are not gonna want to face it. If he can reach his theoretical potential under my tutelage, I promise you, it would be 5 years of terror of on like just in the dance scene specifically. It would just be an absolute. He would just run through tournaments. Well, he would run through individual battles, and he would do exceptionally well in tournaments. And I'm talking in house, out of house, in style, out of style, because he already has it. He has elements of b-boying, which he should continue. If he does that, oh my god, he might. Oh, ooh! I literally just found his path to be better than Khalifa. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I have to talk with him. Yeah, I have to talk with him. I 100% have to talk with him any way possible. I don't care if he listens or wants to be coached or whatever. My mission will get him to start b-boying and then just looking and reflecting on his battles. That's my. If those are my only two goals, it's just that towards the end, had he free with this kid, and then he does it at the end. See. This is what he needs to do in the beginning. But see, this is not a Jersey club scene though, and he needs to see. Ooh! Oh, okay, that's hard. That's actually hard. But. And then he does it at the end. See. This immediately end starts. I gotta do that again too. I mean, uh, let me do this then. So, I gotta record them both again because my goodness, why do all of the people farming want to offer me the bots? Like, no, I don't want the bots. I don't need the bots. Can organically just get there. All right, so we're going to do a second run of basically a new segment where I analyze Jersey dance battles, Jersey dancers, upcoming talent, current talent, and the whole 9 yards. I'm going to basically be introducing someone who I am so high on, brother. When I tell you, I have true faith. I know he's going to do it. Like I promise. It's like tutelage. Oh man, like just a little bit of tutelage and just some wisdom. This guy is going to be he's going to be a force that this state has not seen, and the tri-state better beware. The tri-state and the West Coast better beware dancing wise. If he taps in to what hopefully I can show him, like I just need him to be willing and available. This brother is gonna be nice. So I had to do this basically again after the first recording was not good. So this is basically tragic. He's Leak. He's the one on the right. Una is here, so I'm gonna go in the middle. I'm gonna drag myself down here. Excuse me. I hate when I burp and I'm trying to like get the thought out and then I'm like this 20 times. But anyway, let me do this again. So, oh no, that's not what I want to do. Whoa. We're gonna see basically a little introduction why I'm so high on him. His background is in Jersey Club. It's basically a style that generates or originates from Jersey and the pop locking scene. And once that was brought enough to a high enough level, he then dabbled into the flexing scene, which is a scene from New York, which then he blended the styles and he has been taught by or he's in working with or just like watching. There's a dancer over here. His name is Wiz, who some consider to be the best dancer in Jersey currently, or he's definitely top three without a doubt, 100%. And this guy is basically the complete dancer. He is the one who ends up winning this event. I'll show you a video of that later. He's the one in the white shirt. But even now, I consider this guy, I'm telling you, bro, there's certain pockets and sequences that he does. I say if he gets it, and you know what I mean by get it, like if a dancer gets it, I am telling you he's gonna be a problem. Like that, he's gonna be a problem that the only person who I think will contend with him is going to be this guy right next to him. Like literally this guy sitting there. These are the only two people who I think will be able to contend with each other. Like him right here. But I'm yapping too much. Let's see what Una got. She's fire. I ain't gonna lie, she's moving mad. She utilizes her musicality meter is just so high, and then there's a few other things like she's the only thing she's doing is looking down. But when you're that good, I'm gonna be honest. For my first time seeing you, I wouldn't have paid attention to it because you looking down don't mean nothing when you're this good. She's mod. Off rip, you can tell what his approach is. This does play into maybe like a lack of experience, which you'll see in a few of the later rounds. But there's a few things. As much as I'm going to uplift him, there's like certain things and notes that I would like to speak on. This is one of them. Like just maybe not taking like a whole minute. You don't have the time. You have to go in, but just giving yourself a few seconds to understand like how exactly you want to attack, even if this is on the spot. But you can tell he's gonna get it. He's gonna get into it. See, told you, boom. Concepts, the style, getting in your face, like he don't have a problem. That's a mistake right there. So, he offers a lot of pressure, brother. When I tell you, like under right tutelage, bro, I'm glad this guy actually was able to see him. Like he actually might be a good teacher for him too. But they have a lot of respect. This is good sportsmanship. This is really, really good on both of them. Shouts to them. One lesson from this video for Tragic. Um, what's one lesson I would say? Well, one thing is good that even when he did like mess up or like there was a sequence that he maybe got himself in, he was just trying to get himself out. He continued with the play and he actually made the best of it. One lesson is that just giving yourself a few seconds to like let the music flow within you. Let the music flow within you. I guess I could say that, and then attack like because I've seen him just assess and like strategically strike a beat, and then this one where he's really trying to prove himself rather be on the offensive, not prove himself. But this is another video that I have that I do want to go over with him. And this is where he I believe he loses this if I'm not mistaken. Now this is funny because right away he's 1 second. Sorry about that. That was one of the cleaners helping us with our toilets. All right, so this is how you know he was aware that he wasn't facing somebody that was a slouch. Right there, he said, his face told me everything I need to know. He said, "Okay, this isn't some this isn't some somebody that's just dancing hard. This is somebody with some skill." The pockets, he's doing everything right. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's giving the judges what they want. He's not focused on bars. He focused on groove, flow. That was insane. And he's just chilling. He's grooving. He's telling him, he's like, listen to the music. In a regular battle sense, he's getting that off, but in this sense, it's not like it's not being heard enough. It's being seen, but it's not being heard. If you get what I mean. But I want to make no mistake, like this is an incredible round. See, he does a but he's still going despite of like whatever's happening. Boom. See? I'm telling you. Now that's now that right there was going to be something I wanted to basically give a note of. Oh my goodness. Wi-Fi, please come back. This might have to be a short stream. It doesn't seem like the Wi-Fi is agreeing with me today. Okay. So, as I said, he already knew off rip who he what this was about to be. This was not going to be like the last battle. This opponent was equally skilled, but they grooved on the beat and they turned the musicality meter up to I would say like a 8 or 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 if I'm being honest. He he let it come to him for a few seconds. He knew he was on a timer. He was in no rush, and it flowed. If we can argue like in a better round, um, well this one had to be obviously the best round. He won, but for Tragic side, right? Had he allowed himself to be in those pockets, a lot of those, all of his sequences would have been felt and heard much better. If he would have went into the swag and groove bag, where he's at his most confident and calm in the beginning stages of that round, and incorporated basically the beginning of the round where he's doing the handstand, like the semi parkour b-boy move. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I was telling you guys about So this is the guy is Wiz right here, the one that's sitting right there, and that's the one who won. And that's who I think is currently one of the top 2 or 3 dancers. I think there's certain things that he can do to get even above him, if I'm being honest. Like there's like certain things he could do. But b-boying is something he should 100 million% put in his arsenal. That will take him to a level he has not dreamed of. I promise you. If he were to continue on his path of mastering the fundamentals, musicality, and his freestyles in general, he already has 3 styles already that he can get to. He can glide very well and he can do other things. So that's already a plus. But I see like he has elements that I haven't seen breakers do. He's willing to go on the ground and have a decent ground game. And if you know anything about the breakers or break dancers or bone breakers, like if they have a good ground game, you're probably gonna have a hard time unless you're like extremely talented standing up. But I think that should be something he looks into, and some lessons or like things that he should also continue to absorb. I'm not sure if these are his mentors, but basically overall, I think this is more so a learning experience because genuinely, I think he actually had a shot in this to maybe extend it to a sudden death had he got those things. But this is one of the 2 talents that I'm going to be covering extensively as the years go by because we want to make sure that our young talents succeed. But that's tragic. He loses at the top 16 mark. So good job. He made it the second farthest out of all of the Jersey dancers that I'm aware of in this battle. So good job. Let me go back to Arc Raiders really quick. Nobody's on that I play with, so I might play for like 30 minutes just to get my coins up. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nah, I'll wait.
Hello there. Okay. Leaks that has come out that has hit the internet in the past few days because there have been some new reports coming out about Godzilla Kong Supernova and Space Godzilla's role in the movie, and even more details about the character's design and apparent evolution. Apparently we're going to see an evolution of Space Godzilla in this movie in an insane final form that very much resembles the Toho Kaiju. I'm going to get into it all in this video for you guys and break it down. If you enjoy this kind of content, consider subscribing, and let's do it.
The atomic fail.
Okay, so basically the plot of this movie is that Godzilla and Kong are going to once again team up to take on another cataclysmic world-ending threat. And we do know that that threat is indeed Space Godzilla. And we even know details that confirm that this is the Toho version of the character being brung into the MonsterVerse, albeit a slightly different origin, which we are going to get into in later videos. But the recent batch of leaks that have come out for this movie have touched on a lot of key details for the film, including Space Godzilla and some stuff we know about him, including the crystals. Space Godzilla is going to have crystals, and we even have this picture here of most likely what his design is going to look like according to early test screenings. Now, this here is a custom-made figure by somebody that you can go ahead and follow over on X. I'll link it down in my description below. But according to the recent leaks and the recent test screen leaks, this is the closest look we have right now to Space Godzilla and what he'll end up looking like in the movie. This is not an official figure, but it is a very close design to the final version of Space Godzilla, albeit a little bit of design liberties, like his shoulder crystals being much larger on this figure, apparently, than they're going to be in the movie. movie, they're apparently going to be a little smaller. But even more crazy news is going on right now that's getting me even more excited. And it's taken some beats from Godzilla Minus Zero, I would say. Even Godzilla Kong the New Empire, definitely Shin Godzilla though, for sure, because we are hearing some more details about Space Godzilla and his arrival to Earth. Now, he's obviously going to come down in the crystals, but what's going to apparently happen is that a bunch of the crystals are going to form together. Now, this is basically what we are hearing right now. Some strange crystals are going to land throughout the globe. They latch onto and mind control a few titans, which we'll get into later, but Monarch finds out that these crystals came from a dead planet light years away. Apparently there's an Iwi prophecy about Space Godzilla. I'm gonna guess that's the Sohawa and cave drawing stuff that we already saw hinted at in Godzilla vs. Kong. And then some more crystals are gonna land on Earth and form into a vaguely Godzilla-like crystal monster. So that's gonna be our proto-Space Godzilla form. Godzilla and Kong are gonna fight it in the Grand Canyon. They're gonna defeat it. And that is where Space Godzilla is going to evolve, by absorbing the energy from Godzilla's atomic breath before shooting out more crystals and basically escaping. And we also know for sure that Space Godzilla apparently has some kind of lair in London, and that is also where part of the final fight is going to take place. Now, this is very exciting stuff. So we're going to get a proto-Space Godzilla form. We're going to see multiple forms, maybe even more than two, but there's at least two confirmed forms for Space Godzilla. A proto-Godzilla form where he comes together and vaguely resembles Godzilla. The crystals are going to kind of form together and form a monster that vaguely looks like Godzilla. And then after that, Space Godzilla is going to power up by absorbing Godzilla's atomic breath, turning into, apparently, unless there's a third form, which is the final form, the Space Godzilla that we all know and love from the classic Toho movies, albeit a bit more updated and modern design. So that's insane news for this movie, and it sets a big precedent for where this film is going to take us in the Monsterverse, because we're now seeing in real time a Space Godzilla who evolves, who changes his form. I'm wondering what that's going to mean for those crystals and if they're connected to the Hollow Earth crystals in some way, shape, or form, because I kind of feel like it's going to be that way. They're going to tie it to the Iwi prophecy that showed the flying Space Godzilla cave painting on the wall, and they're going to kind of tie it all together, and this planet-eating titan could even be maybe the very first titan, or the father of all, mother of all titans, whatever, and maybe the origin of even titans coming to Earth. But I'm very curious how this crystal monster is going to end up vaguely looking like Godzilla. How are they going to end up doing that and then having the creature transform into the Space Godzilla we all know and love? And what I mean when I say that is, like, why? Why is this crystal-like monster going to take the form of Godzilla, unless earlier in the movie, which we're not seeing, it absorbs some of Godzilla's cells or something like that and begins to take on his form, unless Godzilla's cells are already in outer space through something we don't know and haven't discovered yet in the Monsterverse, which is very, very possible. I don't know, guys. Like I said, there's a lot going on here, so comment down below and let me know what you think, because this is a huge
Hello there.
So Godzilla is set to have a very exciting and prominent lead role in Godzilla Kong Supernova, with a lot of twists and turns, a lot of changes for the character, and a lot of developments for Godzilla's character arc in some really big and really meaningful ways. So in this video, we are going to break down exactly what is going on with Godzilla in Godzilla Kong Supernova, Godzilla's emotional character arc, his grounded character arc, and even the rumors and ideas that at one point in the movie, Godzilla is going to be hunted, and even potentially an attempt on Godzilla's life. We're going to get into it all in this video, and I'm going to explain it for you guys. If you enjoy this kind of content, consider subscribing, and let's do it.
The atomic fail.
All right, before I get into anything, guys, remember all of this is unconfirmed rumor and leak material from early test screenings. Details can shift,
before the release, and there are some minor contradictions across different leak waves
Yeah, that
in
makes
terms
sense.
of like exact fight
You
locations
don't want to give
and outcomes, but
everybody.
the core elements about Godzilla's role and journey are remarkably consistent,
Jesus
and they've been consistent even since the early
Ah,
of the
boy.
Godzilla leaks for this movie. Now, if you remember what the earlier leaks were, it was essentially that Godzilla was going to be the center of the movie, and that was something that even Adam Wingard talked about a little bit before he stepped down from Godzilla Kong Supernova and Grant Sutor took over. But Godzilla was set to be the emotional heart of the film, and there was potentially an invasion set to happen on the Hollow Earth, or at least an attempt to close the portals off in the Hollow Earth by the governments of the world due to them being extremely frustrated at the Titans and the constant destruction, the constant damage, and the constant loss
Yeah,
of life
bro,
on
these
human.
Titans have caused hundreds of billions, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars. Like, brother, come on. Like,
Side. Well, we are finding out that that was actually somewhat true. So I'm going to get into it without wasting any more time. But Godzilla's overall role and personality in the movie is that he is the emotional heart and focal point of the film, with most of the screen time. Now, Kong still gets a prominent role. He gets more than Godzilla had in the New Empire, but this is framed story. His personality reportedly returns to the more serious, majestic, and solitary vibe from Godzilla 2014 and King of the Monsters, less of the buddy cop energy than some perceived in Godzilla Kong the New Empire, while still retaining a little bit of that buddy cop energy, because we do know that Godzilla and Kong are going to have a much better and much more grounded relationship in this movie specifically. Now, he shows clear emotions. Again, loneliness in several scenes, driven by his developing bond with Zuko, who has grown since the New Empire, and this bond motivates many of his decisions, which is really setting me on the track of thinking we're gonna get a Godzilla Jr. eventually. I know I kind of talked about it for this movie, and some of the early reports were indicating that a baby Godzilla was going to appear in the film. There's almost part of me that thinks maybe baby Godzilla was set to appear and they cut him from the movie for budget reasons, for story reasons, or something like that. Who even knows? Because what we are seeing in this movie is like a developing bond between Zuko and Godzilla, which kind of does make me think that some of those early rumors and some of those early reports were right, because the early reports about the world governments hunting down the Titans seems to be somewhat accurate to what we're actually getting in the final movie. But design-wise, Godzilla's set to be a midway point between his King of the Monsters look and the evolved pink from the New Empire. Now, apparently his base atomic breath is back to blue, but we have kind of seen a hint at some potentially purple spines or dorsal plates from Godzilla in the new Godzilla Kong and the New Empire Call of Duty mobile event, which has a lot of fans, including me, thinking that they're hinting at the new designs for Godzilla Kong Supernova, which is very possible, guys. It's very, very possible. Now, guys, as of right now, the leaks paint Godzilla as a protective, evolving guardian who starts somewhat isolated, but grows through alliances, setbacks, and a major personal evolution during the climax of the film. Now, Zuko has grown, and there's a fun sparring session with Kong where Zuko tries to make an axe out of one of Godzilla's dorsal plates after Kong breaks Zuko's own weapon. This kind of highlights the budding family-like dynamic among the Titans. And apparently during these sequences, it's somewhat hinted at that Godzilla's kind of like a grumpy uncle. Now, Godzilla and Kong, of course, are on good terms, described similarly as that kind of buddy cop energy from Godzilla Kong the New Empire, but not quite the same, a little bit more genuine. Godzilla would go out of his way to help Kong without needing Mothra's influence, for example. And Kong kind of acts as Godzilla's backup in some of the fights. They team up multiple times throughout the movie. So guys, apparently for about, 30 to 45 minutes of the movie, it seems like the first bit of sequences is going to center around Godzilla, Kong, Zuko, Godzilla's new established, somewhat new personality, because we're going to see that Kong and Zuko are going to have that sparring match. Zuko tries to make a new axe with one of Godzilla's dorsal plates, and it kind of starts a mini arc throughout the film of Zuko trying to nick one of Goji's spines, which we already know about. Shimo is also there just sitting around during this, but Godzilla is apparently lonely in the film, very emotive. and his arc is slowly warming up to Sugo and becoming like a grumpy uncle. Now, this is where the major twist comes in. Early on, there were leaks and rumors that Godzilla was set to be the antagonist of the film, and that the world governments were actually hunting down Godzilla as Godzilla has had enough of the human interactions, has had enough of the human trying to hunt down Titan, and is essentially fed up with them. Now, what we're finding out is that why that wasn't completely true, there was definitely some kind of truth to some of that
Yep.
story arc or something, because apparently EDN, which is the Earth Defense Network, which we've already kind of seen some set photos of, they try to kill Godzilla with a satellite, but Monarch crashed one of their satellites into the EDN satellite to save Godzilla. Now, that is the point in the film where some strange crystals are going to start landing throughout the globe and latching onto different Titans, which we're going to talk about a little later. But yeah, apparently there's even another Godzilla versus Kong rematch fight in this film that actually doesn't go the way that you would expect, which actually sees Godzilla taking a pretty brutal beating from Kong, with Kong getting somewhat of a major power-up. So there's a lot going on here in this movie, and a lot of exciting for both Godzilla and Kong, but specifically for Godzilla, it sounds like we're finally getting the story arc that we have wanted for years for this character, and it sounds like we are finally getting Godzilla at the center of the movie between Godzilla and Kong, because it has been almost 3 movies now. I mean, you would say Godzilla versus Kong, Godzilla Kong the New Empire, and it was potentially going to be Godzilla Kong Supernova, having Kong at the center as well, before we very quickly found out Godzilla was going to be the heart of the movie. So we are finally getting a movie centered around Godzilla again. So comment down below, guys. Let me know what you think about all this stuff. What is your take on all this? Do you want to see...
Hopefully Destroyer comes. Oh, Kong gets mind control. Okay, that I could see that. I can see that actually. There's one more video I wanted to watch. How you doing? I've never watched Godzilla. I don't know. Should I watch? Honestly, here's what I'll say about Godzilla. You should look into it if you are more interested in like the big theatrics, the hold on, let me just turn on this light. Because this movie has less plot and more like if you're immersed in the comics and you're immersed in a few other things, I 100% think it's worth it. It's just again, this is not a movie made for like development. This is not like the storyline is not going to be the strongest, but it's going to be extremely entertaining. Obviously, like adults, young adults, and kids have the fan in them for the comics of Godzilla, Kong, and the MonsterVerse in general. So I'm not tired of it yet. I think they have a lot they could explore. They're getting slightly better with each movie, so that's my answer is a yes. But just see what you like want out of this, because if you're not interested in like a movie and you want to watch like a TV show because it's shorter, you can watch like the MonsterVerse. What is it? It's like a Godzilla series. It's just came out with its 2nd season. You can check that out. I think that wouldn't be too bad. I personally would recommend that over the movie, but you can also watch the movies too.
Hello there.
All right, guys, you may have already seen it if you've been out there on the interwebs this morning. But we have some breaking news coming out from Call of Duty Mobile that actually might give us our first look at Godzilla and Kong in Godzilla Kong Supernova, including potentially Kong's exosuit for the movie. So we're going to discuss in this video exactly what is going on. I'm not going to waste too much of your time here, and we're going to break down exactly what these images are showing, because it's kind of hard to tell, but it definitely looks like we are getting our first look at the Supernova designs for Godzilla and Kong. So we're breaking it all down in this video. Very exciting time. If you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, definitely subscribe, and let's get into it.
The atomic fair.
Now, if you guys remember back in the day at this point, you know, as crazy as that is, when Godzilla vs. Kong was coming out in 2020, they had a Warzone event release that was absolutely epic. There was a bunch of events that released, okay? There was a PUBG one, but going over to Warzone and the Titan event that released there, the Godzilla vs. Kong event, it was very epic. It was very cool. It had both Godzilla and Kong stomping around the map, and then you had different suits and stuff, or costumes, skins, whatever you want to call it, that you could buy
cool
for both Godzilla, Kong, and even Mechagodzilla. I was hoping that they would have had Mechagodzilla show up on the map as well, but that never materialized. But coming for Call of Duty Mobile now in 2026, we are getting yet another Godzilla and Kong themed event, and we've got teaser posters released for this event. Now in this first one here, I mean, it's clear as day, okay? Because when I was first reporting on this, I'm not gonna lie, there's another image I'm gonna show here in a minute where the crystals that are popping out of the water, I was almost questioning, is that even Godzilla? Because the dorsal plates look a little different. But seeing here, this is 100% Godzilla in the new design that we are getting for Supernova. Now, it's not 100% confirmed that this
Yeah,
is
they will obviously
okay,
change
this
some
could have
things,
a
but I think
slightly
this will be
different design than
similar.
what we see in the movie, but there is no other way to say it than that this is drastically different than any of the Godzilla designs that we have seen previously in the Monsterverse. Specifically, if you're a sycophant like we are, and you know the different dorsal plate designs, you know that Godzilla Kong the New Empire looked drastically different. Godzilla 2014 looked drastically different. Kind of similar to this, actually, but it wasn't glowing blue and purple. Specifically purple. This purple color is a totally new thing for this Monsterverse Godzilla. But then it doesn't look like Godzilla 2019 or 2021 in Godzilla vs. Kong or King of the Monsters either. What this looks like is exactly what the leaks have been describing, which is a mix between Godzilla 2019 or 2014 even, and Godzilla Evolved from 2024. But what we were hearing early on about this movie is that Godzilla's design is basically going to have settled in. His evolved form is going to kind of have settled in. He's going to kind of have healed over, but his dorsal plates are still going to look different. They're still going to glow different due to
Does that mean he's
peak
evolving, or does
evolution,
that
and
mean
is
this is
what
a
we are
stylistic
seeing
choice?
here, guys. This Godzilla's purple. All right, looking at this image right here, this is a purple Godzilla. No other way around it. But the other image is an even bigger one, and that is this one here. Now, this is the first image that I saw. When I first saw those dorsal plates, I was like, man, is that possibly Space Godzilla, or is that possibly Space Godzilla's crystals growing out of the water or something? Obviously, you can kind of see Godzilla's tail there under the water a little bit, but you know, it had me thinking. It had me thinking. But when you look off in the distance on this image, look further in the map, on the Call of Duty Mobile poster, you can actually clearly see what looks to be Kong. And when you zoom in, you can freaking see the beast glove there. But it also looks like he has either a tactical vest, or, confirming what the leaks have been saying all along, this looks like, I'm just gonna say it, Kong in an exosuit. Some kind of exosuit, some kind of tactical vest. Now let's just, you know, give the devil his due before we go down any sort of theory rabbit holes. This could very well just be unique designs for Godzilla and Kong and Call of Duty Mobile that doesn't really do too much for the final movie, and it's just kind of their way of bringing these characters into the Call of Duty Mobile game and then having them look slightly different, because we've seen that with different games, right? We've seen them do their own takes on characters, And hell, we could see Kong with a fucking tactical vest that he never wears in the Godzilla Kong Supernova movie. That's very possible. But going down the other way, this could very well, and I'm kind of thinking it could be, our first look at both Godzilla and Kong with their new Supernova designs, and specifically Kong with some kind of exosuit off there in the distance, and that seems to be why
That'd be
it's
cool.
teasing it there.
Kong needs a different upgrade. The electric powers would be
Godzilla
nice.
definitely looks different. The dorsal plates definitely look different. I'm super excited to see the body design. I'm sure it's just going to be our good old classic Godzilla that we've known since 2014, and I'm sure his beef is going to be back.
What you mean by that?
So, Pot of Procrastination, or rather should I say Pot of Sloth in the TCG, recently got announced in Chaos Origins, which is coming out on July 2nd in the TCG. And due to how simple but effective the card is, there is already quite a lot of hype over it. Essentially, it is a normal spell card that makes you draw cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. But it also makes you place back cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck if you draw more than one, so that you never go +1 with its effect. So yeah, the card doesn't make you gain or lose anything, it's just a fancy way to mulligan and make your hands better. Due to the fact that your opponent could have a field spell up with 5 monsters in the main monster zone, 5 spells and traps in the back row, as well as 2 monsters in the extra monster zone, in theory, this card could draw upwards of 13 cards. But yeah, obviously the odds of this happening are extremely low since nobody bothers with the extra link mechanic anymore. And most decks nowadays don't need as many cards on the field to be oppressive, but still, drawing a solid 5 cards-ish or something like that can still be very realistic and extremely powerful. Now, it is important to note that this card can only successfully resolve its effect once per turn, meaning that if it gets its activation or effect negated, you can try again. This does matter a lot, because usually when you negate the effect of a spell or trap card, you can't even attempt to use it again. So for example, if you Ash a Pot of Desires, you can't use another one, whereas if you Solemn Judgment it, you can use another copy. But this time the drawback is a part of the effect, so if the whole effect is negated, then the part that prevents you from using another copy simply never applies. Anyways, I'm gonna go straight to the point. This card is truly an incredible tool to include in a variety of decks, but that doesn't necessarily turn it into the next Pot of Greed. This card only really works when your opponent has cards on the field, so from a proactive standpoint, this card is pretty useless going first, meaning that only blind second decks can effectively main deck this card. I can think of Gem Knight, Tenpai Dragon, and maybe Cyber Dragon if we're really pushing it, and whatever other good going second decks might exist out there in Yu-Gi-Oh! However, in a quote-unquote normal deck, this card can still make a lot of sense. You could side deck this card and bring in 3 copies of it whenever you go second into quite literally any matchup, and the more cards your opponent controls on the field, the higher quality your hand will be after resolving this card. But here is the catch. You usually don't want your opponents to have too many cards on the field when you start your turn, because that might mean your opponent might have too many negates that you wouldn't be able to deal with your engine cards. This is why people have a tendency to side in cards that cannot be negated, such as Dark World No More and Super Pulverization, to kind of bypass the unfair negations. However, this card can be negated, which makes it a more fair card your opponent can interact with, but if it does resolve, you might draw into the board breakers that your opponent cannot negate. You might not always want to pair this with a heavy hand trap deck, since if your opponent was already able to make a board, drawing hand traps too late would have little to no value. On the flip side, one could argue that this card could help you trade in some of the excess hand traps you drew on turn 1 into engine cards that would allow you to play the game. I would love to say that this card belongs significantly more to the board breaker decks to increase the likelihood of seeing those massive board breakers, but honestly it could very well make sense in hand trap heavy decks too, as a way to fix the unbalanced hands and dig into your starters. I genuinely believe that this card set the foundation for what Konami wants the future card design of Yu-Gi-Oh! To be like. What I mean to say is, they won't mind creating cards that can draw upwards of 13 cards like this one, if it also makes you place back 12 cards, essentially making you go +0. But unbanning a card with a simple effect such as Pot of Greed won't be happening anytime soon, since it is devoid of any sort of mechanic. You don't need to be a genius to activate a card that makes you go +1. So yeah, in conclusion, this card is a high risk, high reward card that will without a doubt be an incredibly potent meta call one day. And who knows, maybe this card will solidify itself as one of the best side deck staples for a lot of strategies out there, or even a main deck option for going second decks. I really refuse to believe that a card with this much potential will be overlooked by both the OCG and TCG communities, as this card will have a significant impact not only on deck building but also gameplay. Now tell me, what do you think of Pot of Sloth, and which decks do you think can take advantage of it the best?
Ancient Gear, Cyber Dragon. Yep. I'm gonna try it in Sky Striker. I'm gonna test it, Sky Striker. I'm gonna test it in Blue Eyes, and I'm gonna test it in Sky Striker. Makes me want to actually play the deck again. They respond. Mm, let's see what this looks like with um let me put
So pot of procrastination, or rather
They're gonna go ahead, activate Malabursum, and then they Ash Blossom that.
the reason why I keep going in and out back to the Arc Raiders because I'm waiting for someone who I actually know and play with online so they can help me out with this expedition. There's a few things I actually need for them to help me with, and seems like no one's ready right now, so I gotta just confirm like how much time, how does this expedition work? That's what I gotta understand. All right, let's do some test hands. Um, okay, so there we go. Hmm. 1, 2, hit, hit. Um, yeah, that's tough. I want to bring it back. Want to hold on. Hold on, trying to think, trying to think. Darn. Bing bing, and then I bring it back. Okay. This is where the third one would come in. Surprisingly. I could do crocodile. Let's see how far I can go. Okay, so can't go any further. Wait. Okay, so this actually, so that's what this does. Huh. Okay. Any requests? Anything? Any recent? So open round. Let's see. Uh, as you guys can see, just so y'all can take a look, already completed my expedition. Yeah. Stash value. Oh man, I gotta upgrade my guns and everything. Oh, I might do that like off stream. I'll be honest. I don't really feel like doing that on stream. I'll do it off stream. It's too much time. Way too much time right now. But let's continue with this actually.
Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time we have Millennium's Ring going up against Gia Corridor, and this is going to be a $15 money match post-blazing, and we will see Millennium decide to go first, 40 versus 41. Opening hands, we have Imperm, Bell, Q-Tune, Synchro, Valor, and Harmona. They have Droll, Fawn of the White Dragon, Harmona, Ash, and Incredible Ecclesia. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and activate Q-Tune Synchro.
Just
and
Droll.
then Ash Blossom that, which, yeah, that is the end. For a drag, we're going to fuck out the special Drake do, and then go ahead pass. They draw mix, but it's like
Oh,
the
wow.
Ball Drake is still like insane here. Being able to banish, and then Golden Sword Soul effect goes summon. We still have the Ecclesia effect here. So now they're going to go main phase, normal summon mix, activate mix effect, and then chain the Harmona there, and then dump the Despian, Lulu, Wallace, special summon out, and then pop mix. And then this also, you know, during the end phase, get to summon a light spellcaster from your hand or deck whose attack equals its own
crazy.
during the end, so it's like way better. So they're gonna out the mix, and then go ahead search out Q from the deck to the hand, and then they said thinking on res if we wanna even go ahead and try to draw you or not, but we said no, and they also don't want to activate Wind Pegasus there to try to out anything. So now we're gonna go battle, and then said battle phase is fine, and then attack the Ecclesia, lets it get outed. Okay, now they go main phase 2, activate Ball Drake, banish Albion, special summon out, and then Golden Sword Soul, banish, summon out Synchro. We have Synchro effect to go ahead, tag out. I mean, it's just game, right? Like, there's just no way we're stopping them. This also gets to go ahead, special summon out. We have Virtuous that also could special summon out or go dump and then get another effect there. Yeah, it's just way too much. So we go ahead and see Millennium's Ring admit defeat, and then they're going to go first in game 2. We have Imperm, Q, Synchro Overtake, Bell, and Harmona. They have Perulia, Retail C, Fawn of the White Dragon, Soraneer, and Ash Blossom. Okay, lots of hand traps in this hand. Once again, like, Perulia is not really good against this deck. But you know, might be able to get an upstart, might be able to just summon swords, main and then gonna go beyond grab chain hunch the outskirts from Dero there. Titanic Cloud effect goes special, bring out Albaz. We have Albaz effect, discard go fuse, bring out
This young man got
Lubellion.
destroyed.
Lubellion effect, discard Mercurier, and then go ahead put back. Okay, put back off board, and then bring out Mirror Jade. And then we have Cartesia effect, add itself back to hand, sure. I wonder if it was just better to make Alba. I wonder if we even play Alba. I mean, maybe not, because we play Harmona, so we actually, you know, do need to reveal, like, Synchros and stuff. Actually, I don't think they revealed the last game. I think they just dumped the Despia and Lulu. I don't think they actually, yeah, they didn't reveal, right? Yeah, but they have to play a lot of Synchros, so there probably is just no Alba, and Draco Tail is not nearly as popular now, so yeah, that might not be in our deck. I was going to say, if we did play that, then that'd be pretty good, because that makes the Mercurier alive, and then we could just, like, summon Quem go dump, and then we still have, like, Infinite, and we have, like, the Mercurier in hand still, too, but we're still just going to pass. They draw a warning.
Yeah, this game's over. Alright, should we... Let's do one more look. If they're not on now... Yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just be active, probably start around 8, but I'm gonna get off now and I'll be streaming later. No, I'll be streaming at 4, either 4 a.m. or 6, one of the two, but we're gonna be streaming the new Arc Raiders update. So come by, stop by then. We'll be playing Arc Raiders, a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'll include one more game. I just gotta figure out what. But peace in the Middle East. I'll see you guys in the day.